Now, a new kind of content creator is emerging on YouTube, so-called virtual YouTubers.
Twitch streamer and VTuber Buff Pup spoke to Fox 5 using the same avatar she uses to live stream herself playing video games.
Official seal noises coming straight to you.
I think I'm catching feelings? I'm catching feelings!
If we eat, you say,
I got text.
I'm blue. If I were green, I would die.
If I could just face track from home with my own VTuber version of myself, I'd probably take this show to 7 days a week.
50 feet of hemp rope, part of every adventure kit.
Red makes everything better. That's why my hair is red.
Oh, ew, look at that cat walk animation.
What do you consider yourself? A VTuber? An eternal, soulless, anonymous entity?
Usually you want to unclog your nuts, actually.
Oh no, why am I getting hit with things?
I panicked.
I do not like inflation.
Throwing this dog out of an airplane.
I'd appreciate it if you just stayed up.
Oh god, not the VTuber community. Okay, let's check this out.
VTubers have been around for a good while, and recently they've been growing significantly in popularity. They've become their own community of creators defined by their animated avatar. When it comes to being a VTuber, it's far easier than ever. It's not cheap unless you create your own model and rig it, but the accessibility is still there with free software like Vroid. Creators like those in the popular VTuber group VShojo show what VTubing can do. Project Melody is a VTuber who uses full body tracking to create her content, and Iron Mouse has an immunodeficiency, which means she can't really do as much as other creators. And I believe that VTubing acts as a degree of accessibility for those who have disabilities, and simply those who may be insecure or just want to remain somewhat private. I believe VTubing is possibly a small step into something bigger. When it comes to technology and accessibility, I believe it just has potential to grow. Of course, I wanted the opinion of the average VTuber, those that engage with the community and those that have seen the community grow into what it's become. And because of that, I have a few guests.
Alright, hello everyone, how are you? My name is Ordinary. I'm borrowing this body, a girl called PHIA, to become VTuber. How are you guys?
Hi, I'm Klau, and I'm an artist and a VTuber, and I stream a variety of different games, literally everything and anything that I feel like doing. Sonic games, Zelda games, Switch, Wii, fucking VR, anything. Can I swear? I can swear, right?
Hello there. Hello, everyone. My name is Misaki Nobunaga, and I'm a VTuber. Hey.
Hi, I'm Reiny. I'm from the UK. I started as a VTuber about 6 months ago, and I share a YouTube channel with my Japanese sister, Ojiki-chan.
Yeah, so my name is PHIA, and I run the virtual reality show on YouTube. And I'm most well known for making a bunch of VTubing tutorials on the YouTube platform.
First thing I wanted to get to know was what VTubing meant to each of them. I wanted to get their opinions on what it is and what it meant to be a VTuber.
For a VTuber, in a short answer is subgenre of streamer. For the long answer is VTuber is a content creator slash streamer who use avatar, usually anime style design, as their face or personality to hide their real identity or to spice up the content. They usually work as individual or in a group or under an organization. Is that too long?
To me, personally, it's the community, I think, because VTubing is so broad. You can have a 3D avatar, a 2D avatar, a PNG, you know, like there's so many different ways to do it. So for me, it's not about that, it's about the community and like the people, the artwork, just the whole like interactions we all have together, you know? Especially as an artist, artists are really big in this community because I don't know actually. Everyone just loves to get art of their OCs and to put it on banners and overlays and stuff like that. I think it's really cool.
VTubing is streaming or heck, not even streaming, you don't have to stream, but having fun interacting with others using an avatar, which I think is super fun.
For me, it's about being creative. I found that being a VTuber has allowed me to be a lot more creative than I would usually be in my daily life. And that's really important to me. And it's also been a way for me to connect with people, people who have the same interests as me. I think that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, so VTubing is a really fun way to express and explore a virtual side of myself that I've never had the opportunity to do before. I think it's really exciting and interesting because you get to actually become who you want to express yourself to the world. You don't necessarily have the physical constraints of just being born like with, you know, the way that your body is or whatever. VTubing, you literally get to pick how you want to be and be who you want to be. And I think there's so much potential there for people to really just be themselves without having any insecurities or anything holding them back whatsoever.
Of course, there's also why does one become a VTuber? What is the appeal besides becoming anime and the jiggle physics? There's a lot of that.
So, in my own experience is some people just don't want to, their identity to be exposed online. They want to become something else. And the benefit of being a VTuber is you can become anything you want. If you want to become a dragon, you can become a dragon. If you want to become like a strange alien, you can become that. So the possibility is limitless.
There's so many reasons, but a lot of the ones that I've heard is people like to stream but don't want to show their face, or are just like uncomfortable with it, or just don't want to, and this is a good alternative, which is how I got into it, because I did webcam streams at the beginning of my Twitch career, but eventually I stopped because I kept getting sick and like didn't look my best, and it was very stressful to keep dressing up and doing makeup and everything every single stream. And then I got into VR chat, and then I got an avatar, and here we are. Indirectly became a VTuber without even knowing what VTubing was. That's one of them, but I think another is the creativity. A lot of artists and a lot of just people that are passionate about art and like creativity get into it because they want to make a character or play a character or just, be creative. It's like a creative outlet. Artists make their own models, or just creative people pay artists to make models for them. It's really cool.
For me personally, I think it's fun being a VTuber since I get to become, or I get to portray myself as, or using a character that I pretty much had a lot of input into saying how I would look, which I think is super fun. It's a great way to express your creativity. And also, it's fun interacting with all sorts of different people and artists.
In my opinion, I think that people become VTubers because not only is there that layer of anonymity, but there's also the ability to create your own image in a sense. Whereas if you were just a normal streamer with a face cam, you might not have wolf ears or angel wings. So I think that's a really fun appeal for people. And also, I think it's definitely, I think there's an attraction to it because you see so many VTubers coming together and having fun. I think it's just quite charming to want to be involved in that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of appeal in VTubing, but I think a lot of people have always been really interested in making online content, but never necessarily had the opportunity to do so before, for whatever reason that might be. And VTubing is a really fun way to where it's actually pretty accessible for a lot of people if they want to start on something like Vroid, and then download free application softwares like VSeeFace, for example. You're able to hop into streaming in a really fun and creative way, especially like how I mentioned, this like complete and utter self-expression that you can't get in any other way. You're able to get into it pretty easily, and then it's just a fun, really creative hobby from there whenever you want to change up your model and add new things, or switch to 2D versus 3D, or just find a bunch of different ways to have a lot of fun with making content. I think it's really special and cool.
Then of course you have Rise. From Kazuna Eye to now, we have possibly a countless number of VTubers. You cannot get rid of them. I tried. But why are there so many now? Why have they been growing in the last few years?
So what I know, because become VTuber is much cheaper. So I actually interest to become VTuber back in like 2016, you know, when Kizunai just start to become famous, and the budget to become VTuber is like more than $40,000 just to become VTuber. I mean $4,000. I add too many zero. So, but for now, you can become a VTuber with almost zero. You know, you just need a good setup, and you can use some free software to begin.
A lot of it can be probably explained by like the famous people, because there's been a lot of famous people that have been getting a lot of models, like, you know, Pokemon got one, and Anthony Padilla got one too, and it's just like a lot of, as soon as a lot of like generally famous people got into, a lot more people got exposed to it, and then that made people realize, oh, this is cool, you know. And especially since it's been brought over from Japan, like since all the EN branches have opened from, you know, Hololive and Nijisanji and stuff like that, it's really like broadened it to the rest of the world.
Ooh, why the sudden rise in popularity? Oh, that's a tough question. Like for me, why I started watching VTubers is because I was drawn into the character, and then I stayed for the person's personality. And I'm thinking that probably a lot of people feel the same way. They're like, oh, look at this cool looking character. Let me click on this video. What? Oh, this person's kind of cool. I want to watch them. Or even on top of a live stream, what? They're using a moving avatar? This seems interesting. Click.
I think that is definitely down to the large VTuber companies such as Hololive and Nijisanji. They've had a huge impact in Japan, and of course that's definitely translated overseas thanks to like clippers translating clips. And then I think when Hololive released the English-speaking branch of Hololive, it just skyrocketed because suddenly, you know, the Western audience could get involved without having to rely on without there being a language barrier being there. So I think that has helped phenomenally to open it up to not just to the Japanese audience, but also to the rest of the world as well. I think that's also encouraged independent VTubers as well. They see how well English-speaking VTubers are doing, and they also want to join in the fun.
Well, I think it became kind of a sudden rise just because of how accessible it became all of a sudden. I know for me, I kind of started VTubing before it became like a really popular thing, which is why I think my tutorials did pretty well, for example, is because they were out there once it did become popular. But it's one of those things where it's been like super hard and inaccessible to like literally everyone before. Like if you don't have an expensive motion capture suit, or you don't have the money to go commission like thousands of dollars for a fancy 3D model, it's just insane to try and get into something like that. But there was a lot of hype up for VTubing being accessible in Japan, which is really exciting, which means that Japanese programmers and VTubers were creating their own software. And then, of course, it all became adapted into English-speaking Western audience as well, which is obviously really exciting. So 2020 was kind of the like shaping point when people like realized that the different softwares and stuff are actually accessible, which is just really fun and exciting. And so ever since then, ever since about summer of 2020, it's just kind of blown up exponentially and went from something that was like incredibly niche to being something that's pretty well known by just the mainstream in general.
And with that being the case, what was it like for each of these people when the community started?
So for my own experience, because it's not only it's the first time I I play games and talk to myself in the camera, it's it's also my first experience to become a YouTuber in general. So it's really weird experience. I used to be really shy, but talking with people and the community makes me to become more confident. And it actually grew me as a person in real life.
When I started VTubing, I didn't know I was VTubing. I mean, I kind of knew, it was like literally just being brought over to EN. I started before even, Hololive EN existed, before any of the EN branches existed. And this was before even like VC Face was big. This was when everyone used to love it because it was the only thing and it's so expensive, and and then VC Face came out. Like, it was small. It was so, like, the EN community was tiny. It felt like everyone knew each other, and debuts weren't even a thing. Like, no one I knew had a debut back then. And then everything blew up after Holo did their thing, and the culture just grew into what it is today. There's VTubers everywhere, debuts, hundreds of them daily, it's crazy. But with that, it also kind of brings a lot of graduations. Since a lot of people think, oh, I want to do this, and then spend thousands of dollars, and then they realize, oh wait, don't like it anymore. So it's kind of like, VTubing back then was a lot of streamers that were very set on streaming. But now it's people that are kind of like dabbling into it and aren't really sure. Like, people start out VTubing, but back then people started out streaming and then kind of went into VTubing. But now people are like, I want to be a VTuber specifically. For me, it was, I want to be a streamer, and then I got an avatar to, have a little bit more interaction since I didn't use a camera.
I started VTubing, lots and lots of scuff. I heard of the EN scuff curse, and then I guess it's real since my internet didn't want to work, my computer randomly crashed, my streams would lag or crash. Heck, at one point my microphone broke somehow. I never dropped it, I never bent the wires, but my original microphone one day just decided, boop, I don't want to work anymore. Though, it was fun meeting a bunch of new people, so that's what made up for all the stuff. All the fun interactions with viewers and meeting other fellow VTubers.
Oh, when I started, I'm quite lucky in a sense because I didn't have to start from the ground up. I had a stepping stone in the form of my sister, Ojiki-chan. She is already an established VTuber for almost 3 years now. She's already established herself an audience. And so when it was decided that I was going to join the channel alongside her rather than doing what most other VTubers would do and just get my own channel and start from zero, I already had a very good foothold, which was really beneficial for me. And of course, it was very nerve-wracking at first. I never did anything like this before, but it was really fun. And I was really glad that there was already people there who were excited to meet me. So it was nice. It was really nice. I know that there are lots of VTubers, especially independent VTubers, who are just starting out, and it looks like it's a very hard grind in the beginning, trying to get that audience there. So I'm very grateful that, you know, I already had that that privilege. So, and also being able to share the channel with my sister, it means that we get to collaborate on everything. So we're always playing games together and hanging out, and we have great chemistry. And I think that the fans have said that they really like our chemistry together. So
It was a lot different when I first started VTubing. So when I actually first started, I didn't even necessarily know what VTubing was, if that makes sense. Like, I had discovered Vroid and making my own avatar, and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, how do I use this avatar? Like, what can I do with it? And that's when I decided that I wanted to make content from VR, for example. But I didn't really know that there was like a small community growing of people who were really interested in VTubing as like a concept. So there was a lot to learn for sure. It was definitely a lot different, like very, very niche. There wasn't a lot of people doing it, but everybody was always very supportive of each other. And whenever there was even like one single new VTuber that would like step into the scene, like everybody knew about it. It wasn't like there was constant debuts back and forth. In fact, like debuts weren't really a thing whenever I first started, or if there was a debut, it was like a big deal in the VTuber community because there was so very few people doing it. Which is totally different to now when there's just so many people joining into the hobby for the very first time. So it is very saturated compared to what it was, 2 years ago. But it is very exciting at the same time because there's so many people who now have the opportunity to start VTubing and express themselves in this unique way that's never been possible before.
Then there's the future of VTubing. With the amount of technology used to bring these creators to life, what can we see in the future? Perhaps the quality will increase, maybe someone will create a Vroid-like app for a 2D model and make it even more accessible. Hell, maybe it's just a fad, I don't know. Let's hear from these guys.
The future. I actually talked with my friends about it before. I think this is right now, this year, or like is the golden age of VTuber. Everyone can become VTuber. It's really easy to start as a VTuber. There's a lot of free software and a cheap alternative to begin. And it reminds me, like I said, I consume YouTube since 2012, so I see a lot of things change, and this reminds me of when people start to realize that YouTuber is actually a real job. And what I can see in the future is actually that it's not like like a grand scheme of thing. I see it's more like the thing will start to become so mainstream that it's become something that a new normal. Like right now, when people said I want to become a YouTuber or a streamer, it's a normal thing to say. But back then, it's almost like people won't believe this gonna be a real job. I feel like a VTuber will gonna get a same experience, that become a VTuber is gonna be a normal thing, and then there is gonna be a new kind of thing in the future.
Oh my god, it's huge, I think. Because VTubing is heavily, affected by VR. And VR is also a thing that's going up so fast. Like, so many things are happening in VR right now. You know how we have full body VTubers, that's all VR gear, right? So, and especially VTubers with all their like Unity setups and whatever, they all use like VR equipment for all this. So as long as VR is expanding and we're getting like headsets with face tracking and stuff like that, it's all becoming the norm. So you know how people had face tracking with their iPhones like I do? Back then it was unheard of and it was crazy, but now more and more people are having it because booth models are coming with face tracking already made, you know? Like I had to make mine, but I recently bought a furry model and that furry model already came with the face tracking blend shapes. So things are just becoming more and more accessible, like things that were unheard of back then are the norm now. So imagine things that are unheard of now, like not many people have full body tracking, right? Like I do. Like when I play Ring Fit, you can see my whole model moving and stuff like that. Not many people have that. Like the only other person I know of is probably LumiTuber that's done that. So not many people have that, but I feel like soon enough, a lot of people will have that. And even 2D models. 2D models now have hand tracking and face tracking. Like they didn't have that before. It's crazy. So what it holds in the future, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what could be going on in the future, but I know it's big because I've been following VR for a few years and that shit is crazy. So I'm sure VTubing will be even crazier. Like the community invents stuff all the time. Earlier today, there was a release of Android face tracking. See, no one thought that was possible, and here we are, Sylvie made it. Isn't that crazy? I love it. I appreciate everything that everyone does for this community. And for free as well. Like, wow, so talented.
Ooh, what do I think the future of VTubing is? I feel like it's... And oh, what's VTubing gonna be like? I feel like it's getting way, way, way better now. Like, all the cool-looking different tracking features. Heck, I've even seen things where you can throw stuff at the VTuber's avatar, which I think is super cool. It's gonna get more and more interactive and way higher quality, which I'm excited for. I can't wait to play with those things out, like how there was recently the light editing for whatever background you're using. So I'm like, that's cool. I can't wait to see how that evolves. Technology for the win.
It's quite hard for me to think about. I think that the future of VTubing, right now we are seeing a huge amount of VTubers popping up every day, and there is something for everyone. I think there's VTubers who will like play games, who will sing, who will dance, I've seen programming VTubers, I've seen like talk show host VTubers, I've seen 3D modeling VTubers, art VTubers. There's just an endless genre that you could drill down into. And I think that as VTubing goes on, I think that those subgenres will only continue to grow as well. You know, new hobbies and new interests come up all the time, and there's always going to be a VTuber who you know, is able to share that with an audience. So I think that for a while VTubing is going to continue to grow, as we've seen with all of these larger companies. They're still putting out new generations of new VTubers. You know, it's not slowing down anytime soon. I think that right now we are in the golden age of VTubing. So I think it will be a long time before it slows down. And even if it does in the future, I think that it will still exist in some form.
There's so many possibilities of the way that things are going to change and morph, especially as a lot of this technology gets more popular, it gets cheaper, it gets more accessible, which is all really exciting stuff. There's always been the super like high quality VTubers, if you think like Kizuna Ai, Code Miko, Project Melody, they kind of have a step above what most people do when they're VTubing, if that makes sense, with their like motion capture suits and whatnot. But I think a lot of that technology is going to be brought down to a level to where like consumers can actually afford stuff like that, which is very, very exciting. I think a lot of times VTubing is going to, a lot of times it has a huge overlap with VR. Obviously for 2D VTubers, VR isn't exactly something they can do, but for 3D VTubers, you can actually import your model into VR applications and do tracking for stuff such as that. I really think that as VR expands, VTubing will also expand parallel to that, because the two are so intertwined. And so I'm really excited to see how people actually immerse themselves in their avatars rather than just controlling it on a flat screen.
So I think that the future of VTubing is bright. It's going to be bright for a while, I think. Anyway, we'll see.
So, VTubing is the start of something. Maybe nothing groundbreaking or anything, but there's so much potential to do more than just be a tool for streaming. This was technology that big companies had access to years ago. Even Mario is a VTuber, and now everyone can be Mario. I mean, not really, not legally, because... But yeah, VTubing in the future is something I look forward to because I find it interesting. It's a tool of personal expression, and that makes it amazing to me. It's a showcase of cool tech and wonderful personalities. And the way they're becoming more mainstream, we already see them being used for advertising. Like, look at Netflix, Crunchyroll, they have their own VTubers, and maybe one day we'll see a commercial on TV with them, I don't know. But you know what, whatever they do, it's going to be interesting at least, and I can't wait to see them. To finish off, I want to thank my amazing guests. They're all wonderful to talk to, they're all great, you can check them out here. A special shout out to V. Unfortunately, we lost the footage and we didn't have any time to schedule, but you know, it happens. Check him out, he's pretty cool. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, leave a comment, give me criticism so I can do better in the future. And thank you again to my wonderful guests, they're amazing. Slán?
Bye bye!
Bye! Alright, bye everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for inviting me. Goodbye, everyone. Remember now, waifu and husbando over meta. Heh.
What is coming? Sorry. Okay. That's it.
Hopefully I'll see you next time.
If I were to maybe give some advice for new VTubers, I would definitely say that it will be difficult in the beginning, but as long as you keep doing what you enjoy, then people will come for, you know, the enjoyment that you project. If you project negativity, then you know, you make people around you feel negative, I think. So it's important to, even if it's difficult in the beginning, to stay positive and hopeful and just keep doing what you love. And don't compare yourself either.